Abby, are you gonna edit this entire?
Yes, of course I'm gonna edit this.
Hell yeah, it's not gonna go up raw.
All staying in. We're going. This is actually a stream. I don't know.
Went from group chat to tutorial real fast.
Yes,
When she subtitles it, it's just gonna be garbled conversation.
You just restart the whole recording.
Abby, you need to restart this whole section.
Hello, guys.
Start over.
Okay. 3, 2, 1, go.
Hi guys, my name is Abby. Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, I am a first year UCL LAWS student, now finished with exams, upcoming second year, and here are all my friends, my beautiful friends. Say hi, everyone. And we're here.
Oh, you said beautiful. Sorry, I should not wave.
Okay, so here are all my friends. We are also all UCL Year 1 students, and we're here to spill the tea and sort of give our review of how our first year went. Let's start with the first category, which is academics. So for first year, we did 4 modules. Contract, we did criminal, we did property, and we did public.
I honestly think for pretty much all the modules except public, I'm okay with them. Just, I really didn't like public.
Let's talk about contract first.
I really like
absolutely
contract.
Fantastic. I loved it.
I really liked
Fantastic.
contract.
How dare you?
I can't tell if
I
you're being
genuinely
sarcastic.
really enjoyed contract.
No, I
think,
thought it
like-
was quite engaging for me
There you go.
personally.
I think it's really practical as well.
I think like the
Oh,
thing
yeah,
I got
you
on
know.
contract most is like I was reading like the contract that I had to sign for like next year's accommodation, and I was reading through it, and I didn't feel like intimidated by it at all, and I was like, oh, I definitely feel like it can be applied to real world circumstances, you know. I'm like,
Oh,
isn't that what
yeah.
we're all here for?
Like,
Yeah,
I
I
did
like
find
contract.
the module interesting, but it was the easiest for me to understand.
Very middle for me. I didn't love it. I didn't hate
Yeah.
it.
I think you guys can agree that contract wasn't particularly
It wasn't the
demanding.
best.
But that's why we sort of feel like the middle ground. It's not like the worst or the best subject. Yeah, it had its fun. There were also the downsides in the beginning, but overall I think it was a positive experience, right?
Okay, let's move on to the next module, which is criminal law. Let's talk about criminal law.
Hated it.
I think criminal has to go bottom because like
I-
criminal is like
yeah.
interesting to study,
Oh, hot takes.
but the assessments are the hardest.
I thought it
Well,
was
no
absolutely
big deal.
fantastic as well.
Hated it.
Like, I don't
That's
say
true,
I
yeah.
hated it because I didn't find it interesting. I say I hated it in terms of like I found it really difficult.
Criminal is good in the sense that, you know, you see in the news that people go to jail every day, and you get to understand like why are they convicted, like what are the elements of their offense, you know.
I wasn't like super interested in the content, but at the same time, I think, you know, what distinguishes criminal from the other subjects is that it involves a lot of tests. And so I found it really fun, sort of assembling the pieces of a puzzle and trying to make sense of the situations that we're given. So I found that really fun, actually.
Like, I feel like it's very methodical. So like once you understand like the steps that you need to go through, then it's very, I would say, rather easy to apply them.
If you read like for example a lot of the textbook before tutorial, you can go in feeling really confident, but film tutorials are like butt clenching, butt clenching, butt clenching. No matter how much prep you go, maybe it's because I had Rory Kelly. Rory Kelly was an amazing tutor, but when you go into tutorials for crim, you get ready to get roasted. You get ready to be like beat.
Yeah.
Mm.
That's
Right,
over.
right.
It's like the
Right.
most awkward hours of my entire life.
Let's just say it's a very humbling experience having Rory as a tutor.
Mark was really chill about it.
Butt clenching.
I guess the thing that I found most interesting was about like the people involved in it, which I know is kind of cheesy, but like I personally like
Oh.
I was first interested in law because like of like legal theory and like philosophy and stuff like that, and so I guess crim kind of just overlaps with that a little bit more.
The next module, which is property.
Favorite module.
Hated it!
It's very statute based, so like it's generally quite structured. It can come across as dry, but
Yes.
I think that my tutor was very good at pushing people, and she was also very clear.
I think property is a lot more clear in terms of like how you would write an assessment, and there's less things to be uncertain about in an exam compared to the
Yeah.
other modules.
Like,
Once you know the relevant parts of the LRA or LPA, it's pretty like, I don't want to say straightforward, but like you apply the same sections a lot. So you get really used to that mechanism of how it works.
Well, if we're comparing property to crim, I think the criminal is much more philosophical. Property, they're a bit more structured. It's more commercial sense. That's why you find it easier.
I found property interesting because it still has like a practical application to our life. When you sign a lease, it's a property that you're taking on. So it's just interesting to like venture into that realm that you never really thought about before. When you're a kid, you don't think about, I'm gonna own a house or I'm gonna lease a house. But with property, it like brings more awareness to the issues that could surround this area.
It was really fun for me, at least, to figure out how those different pieces fit together. Especially for me, because I have to take the Hong Kong land law exam soon, just seeing how the UK land law and then how Hong Kong land law works.
In terms of mooting, I really don't like property moots. Hello,
Property
Carmen.
moot.
Will the JMC final be a property moot? I don't know.
So moving to public.
I'm an anti-publicer. Just in
Anti-public fan.
I think it's the way
the
that
basic
public was
laws
taught
and
to
stuff.
us. Like it was like very abstractly taught. It was
Topic.
basically four core concepts and you just talk about them every time you write about an essay. It got a bit like repetitive in the end.
But public can be more fun because it can get a bit more political. Like sometimes it would end up being like very politics related. That was
No, but the law fun sucks out all the fun from the politics, you know?
exactly.
Yeah. The law
Exactly.
just sucks
You
it
know
all
how
out. It makes it dry.
Because I don't think I have like an investment in British politics, or I've never really cared that much about it. So it was a bit difficult for me to find the stuff interesting, especially like devolution. It just did not resonate with me.
I feel like I'll be in the minority, but I really enjoyed public.
Yeah, same.
Really?
I think I had a pretty good tutor. Even though I'm not invested in British politics at all, like I still found the content interesting because like I always approach it from like I'm learning about sort of how the UK court system works and how the UK government works. I found it interesting in the sense that I was able to compare it with sort of other legal systems that I'm experiencing. For example, like here in Hong Kong, just seeing how the UK government and the UK courts interact.
Personally, I feel that public was the easiest subject because, like Abby said, it just revolves around four core modules. And all my essay is all about parliamentary sovereignty, separation of powers. Exactly, and that's why I found it, and I find it enjoyable actually.
I also like how there's a lot of theory to it, a lot of like politics to it, and like how there's never any like one right answer.
Like we have to say that the distinction between politics and public law is fairly large. Like for example, if we take life as a theatre production, politics is what plays out in front of the audience and public law is what happens behind the scenes, right?
I think you won't necessarily grow to enjoy UK politics, but I think you're definitely more aware of it.
Great.
Cartman, you're
but,
not voting, Cartman?
man.
I will refrain from voting because I genuinely enjoyed all the modules.
Oh my
But
god!
you still have a lead.
Yes.
You still have a lead.
Question: how did you find the workload?
It started off with too much, then it sort of became a lot more manageable halfway through the second term. It wasn't the worst. They were trying their best, and I appreciate that.
I don't think the academic workload is that
It
bad.
wasn't that bad. It wasn't.
Yeah.
Academic workload is manageable, but I think what's hard is managing academics with extracurriculars. That's the harder part, not the academic workload.
And managing
That's true.
it with mental health, it just became like more than it actually was at the beginning because we were doing LAWS casts by ourselves, which is like essentially just lectures. But since we were doing it on our own, like online, it just felt like extra like homework kind of thing, like as if it were like extra reading and stuff like that. If we had the actual classes in person, it wouldn't have felt as bad or as long.
The law cast debt was real. Like that's what added to my stress.
Yeah.
I have never fallen behind on lawcasts or live Q&As, and I'm very proud of that.
Whoa!
my God.
Okay, nice.
Cheers to that, Maddie. What a legend.
We gotta give recognition to the academic faculty as well for reducing it. I think they were very cognizant of like the demands of studying online. It was January, right? They started cutting out a topic or so. And I was very, very grateful for that.
It was
Those
incredible.
the extra weeks of like sort of catching up really, really helped. It made things much more manageable. So that's why it made everything overall much more manageable.
I think for me personally, like I did not struggle with pure academic workload, but I recognize that there's a large proportion of people who felt otherwise, and I think their concerns are very valid as well.
Yeah.
I think law class are the minimum. But if you're trying to read every single academic reading, every single jurisprudence, every single court case, you will never enjoy law. You will not enjoy yourself. It is way too dry of a subject for you to read every single piece of academic literature ever. The way I went about it, I watched the law class. I was a good boy there. I did my tutorial readings, nothing more, nothing less, nothing more, right? When I needed it for my essays, I found it right then and there, and I did the readings right then and there.
Shouldn't do handwritten notes. Like, it might be pretty useful to like remember things, because I really do remember things from handwritten notes. But then like they're too time consuming, so don't listen to the professors telling you to do handwritten notes.
I think a lot of people overlook the lecture handouts, but I found them like really useful, and I use them a lot, especially during assessments.
You know, the workload is manageable if you're smart about it. Like, don't try and read everything, because you're never going to get through, you know, every single reading or every single case, because some of the cases are like a few hundred pages long, and you just don't want to read all of that. Don't try and do everything, but just like study smart.
What do you like the most about the course?
It's gonna sound really stupid, but what I really like about it is that when I watch Billy Blonde, I can be Elle Woods.
She can be Elle Woods.
Probably our professors, our tutors are all, honestly, I think we have pretty good ones.
I felt at UCL that our teacher genuinely tried to provide a good learning experience. Whether or not they were successful, you know, they all have different teaching styles, and some of them are bad. But they tried. I'm genuine when I say I really appreciate that.
They really make you think about, you know, for example, why certain judgments were decided the way they were, or why the law is the way that it is. And, you know, that sort of critical thinking really sort of carries over.
I really enjoy having a theoretical aspect to studying law, because I studied law in like Hong Kong, and it was very, very practical, and it ended up not being very interesting. But at UCL, I really enjoyed the more theoretical aspects of it. I think it made learning law a lot more interesting and intellectually stimulating as well.
100% same as Abby, because I did 3 years of law in Singapore as a polytechnic as well, and everything was so practical. We learned how to write a contract, but we didn't like figure out like what's the theoretical aspects of why we even need these elements in the contract. The tutors in UCL really opened up my eyes, like the controversies, but then I'm always pushed to think, can we do better and everything like that.
It's almost inspiring in a way how we're contributing to this debate around, you know, like controversial cases.
No, honestly, like it just feels really satisfying to like come to a conclusion on something that's like the law. You know what I mean?
I'm gonna wrap up academics with just raise your hand if you experienced burnout this year. Okay, that's all you need to know about law school. Okay.
I mean, it's not a bad thing. It's just sort of a sign that you need to take a break once in a while.
You got to know that these waves, they are cyclical, they are busy periods, and there are good days and bad days as well. You just got to ride out the waves.
There is a light at the end of the tunnel, isn't there?
Yes. Yeah. There is. Look at us.
Right.
Let's talk about faculty then. So the biggest question surrounding faculty is like the teaching quality of our tutors and our lecturers. So what did you guys think about the teaching quality?
I think it was good. Most of my tutors, in fact all of my tutors, were able to push us out of our comfort zone, make us think a little bit deeper, and play devil's advocate to our points.
The academic staff and the academics this year tried really hard. You know, even though our first year was completely on Zoom, I think they tried really hard to make it engaging for us.
I know my property tutor, which all of us have, like a lot of us have, like give really, really critical and insightful feedback.
For me, with feedback, it was kind of like 50-50. Sometimes I would get like really good feedback, and sometimes I would just get like a couple sentences in the end.
I'm gonna address the elephant in all our heads and say that not every professor or not every lecturer or tutor is like brilliant and perfect at teaching. Not all of them are like 100% conducive, and it also depends on how you learn as well. Obviously, they're all like wonderfully qualified people, and it's like amazing that they're able to teach us, especially when they're like very high up in the academic world as well. But I think it's also realistic to expect that there will be good professors and there will be slightly more subpar professors as well.
At the end of the day, you are primarily responsible for your own education. And so even if you have a lecturer or a tutor that, you know, perhaps isn't as compatible with your learning style, you know, there are things that you can do to make up for that. Learning at UCL isn't defined by the tutors that you get, but more about how you sort of approach your own learning and how you, what sort of things you do to supplement the materials that are given to you.
Definitely. Yeah, for example, I was struggling a bit with contract, like Dr. Brenner. He has these drop-in sessions, and I've been to one or two of them, and they were really, really helpful. So like Cartman's right, it's really up to the student to make the most of the resources the school has available for them.
The next question would be, are the lecturers or are the tutors nice? And I would say wholeheartedly, they're like wonderful, nice people. Like I haven't heard a single tutor that was like an asshole to anyone.
Yeah, I think the tutors do a lot and they go out of their way to sort of make sure that all the students are learning.
I cannot speak for other universities, but I'm definitely very pleased. I think that most importantly, there is no systemic issue.
There's definitely no systemic
poor education.
And like even like Karen Scott with like her little drop-in sessions, like those were really like nice of her to do, like really cute. I genuinely think that like whenever like there was something posted on like Unity or like a problem that we had, they would genuinely try to respond to it, and if they couldn't respond to it, it was very much this is like what we can't do, and like these are the reasons why we're sorry.
We're gonna end this faculty section with a shout out to your favorite tutor.
It's like choosing a favorite child.
Oh, that's hard.
Mark wasn't even a tutor. Like I didn't have Mark for but I love Mark. I just love him, and when he shows his cat.
Mark was my personal tutor, and I think Mark was amazing.
Yeah.
My favorite was Fabiana.
Yeah, everybody says Fabiana, and I think she personally is my favorite as well.
Dr. Matt Fisher.
Yes. You know what? Actually,
Dr. Elaine Genders. Shout out to Nico too. He's really great.
Since y'all shout out to Fabiana, I think let's give a shout out to Rory.
Butt clenching.
Smash shout out to Karen Scott. Friends
Just
online.
make friends, loners. Come on.
I think it's difficult to make friends online.
It is.
Yeah, it's not easy. It's not easy, but it is possible.
But it's not impossible, is my.
It's not impossible.
It's not impossible.
I know.
Even if like you're the shyest person on the planet, I guess like just randomly texting people can be worth it sometimes. Like I just randomly ended up texting like Faith and Abby.
Yeah, I remember. Like in first year, everyone is desperate to find friends. So like anyone you reach out to will be willing to talk to you.
At the beginning of the year, my approach to making friends was just to talk to as many people as possible, but I realized you don't necessarily have to put in too much effort. I feel like just making a couple of good friends at first, and then eventually you can make mutual friends, because that's kind of how I got into this, I guess, friend group as well, because I think I was was it with Carmen or with Ryan, I don't know, but I joined this friend group through them, and I met all of you guys.
Frankly speaking, it's about how much you put yourself out there.
I'm even wearing a UCL t-shirt. Like if this doesn't show how dedicated I am, I'm a walking UCL advertisement. Let me do my plug. The UCL Law Society's career service is also really good. Okay, like I'm not saying this because I have an interest in this.
Look at the great success that the program has entitled.
Stop it,
Smuggler. The program has brought so many people.
I will aim to make this not sound like an ad, but genuinely, I think this year UCL's career service did quite well.
It just really truly enables you to go out there and conquer the world.
Yeah, where are our
Where do I sign up for this?
As the legal market continues to evolve, the society will make sure that different areas of law are covered sufficiently to make sure that members are able to make an informed choice about what career paths they want to take.
So TLDR, join the UCL Law Society. It's very cool.
Because how much do they pay you?
How much are you
No, you know what? You should be paying Abby. You should be paying Abby.
We don't get paid.
I require commission. I think we got everything, and I have enough material to make a.
More than enough.
Shall we do an ending?
Do an outro for me.
So this is it for today's video.
Smash that subscribe button.
Smash that like button like a bag of rice.
Like and subscribe.
If you want to see more content from all of us.
Yeah, comment your favorite
Comment your favorite member of this panel.
Obviously me.
My name is Abby. Welcome back to the channel.
Tim, stop. Tim, you can't laugh.
Am I allowed to swear?
Yes.
I remember like I was walking on the street the other day and I was thinking like, wow, like I could literally like commit an act of theft right now. Because the offense is not.
You know how to
not
skirt the
ever-
law, Maddie.
Wait.
Alright, Maddie, would you like to contextualize
Maddie,
that
don't
in,
confess
would you like to context?
I fell behind first
worth
semester
it.
reading week.
Same.
Am I the only one who doesn't have a full set of notes for any of the subjects?
This can be a blooper. We can just all call Abby blooper.
Okay, Abby.
I mean, Abby used Tinder to meet people outside of UCL. There's definitely more than one way. Yeah, the super like Cartman for his attention.